You are, folks, welcome. So in today's adventure, we've headed down to South Devon again to see if we can get Connor a ray out. Now, I'm going to go through something in a minute. With the overlap of this is when we come down to the mark this morning, there's obviously been anglers here overnight last night, and we've picked up a massive pile of rubbish. I spent probably the best part of 5 minutes when I first got here just going around and tidying it up and putting it in all in one area. I'll head over to the area in a minute and we'll get you a view of the camera, but as you can see here now, I'm just walking around picking up rubbish. Guys, at the end of the day, when you come into marks like this, pick up your rubbish and take it home. I mean, it's a carrier bag at the end of the day. And it's not just that, it's when the people are coming down. I mean, the amount of flies and stuff around here now is mental. I mean, the other day when I come down to here, there was no flies or nothing, you know what I mean? And you could come down, you could have a really comfortable session with no flies and that around you, you know what I mean? Because they do your head in that time, especially. I mean, there's flies literally everywhere here now. And it's down to the food and the bait. I mean, personally, when I'm taking bait off, I chuck it back into the sea or chuck it towards the sea. We can come in tide then and pull it around, you know what I mean? And it is what it is. Just obviously, it just annoys me, and it's not anglers. It's in my opinion, it's dippers. It's the only way to describe them, because it's people that don't know what they're doing. I mean, just pick your rubbish up. It's common sense at the end of the day. You wouldn't go into your house and have a packet of crisps and just chuck it on the lounge floor. You know what I mean? And just leave it there and leave it there to build up. You pick it up and put it in the bin, and that's what you should be doing down here. I mean, it marks around South Devon, a lot of them, people wonder why people keep them quiet, and it's for this reason we keep it quiet, because 9 times out of 10, when you get a lot of groups of anglers coming down, not everybody looks after the venues. And where we went the other day, and I call it Dipper Mark now, and the reason I call it Dipper Mark is because you go down there and it absolutely stinks. I mean, I've been down there, there's been poo, literal human poo everywhere with toilet roll. I mean, people got to go toilet when they're out this ways and doing things. You know what I mean? You don't go just going for a toilet right in the middle of the rocks where everybody's going to fish. It's just disgusting. You know what I mean? There's flies and bait left all over the place. It's just absolutely just unreal. And as I said, I've just spent Connor's just picked up a load where he is. I've just spent probably 5 minutes of my time going through and just picking it up and piling it up. And it just ruins it for others, and it's horrible to see at the end of the day. It's nothing to pick a bag up. We'll take that home, that stuff there, and put it in a bin on the way home. There's always public places to do it. Just don't leave it by the sea at the end of the day. It's just rubbish. But yeah, hopefully that message gets across. I don't think it would do any good, but it does annoy me. But gonna get the first baits up now. Just done some bait ups for the Sea Fishing Show channel, so do check them out. I've done a sardine bait up, and I've also done a sand eel and sardine bait up. So time to get some leads out and get in there. So that is basically what was all around the rocks here. Line left over the place, paper left over the place, crisp packers, like basically a packed lunch. Instead of putting it in a bag, thought, do you know what, we'll just leave it here. And it's absolutely disgusting. Honestly, when we come down now, there was literally flies everywhere. And we've picked up most of the bait and chucked it in the water. But as you can see, it's just like line left there, line left there. It's just apple peels everywhere. It's just mental. Okay guys, so I'm going to put the first cast out of the day. Whee! Watch your foot in, quite slippy. So first one out, we'll have to get that in the tripod rest and get the other one out now. Okay folks, I'm going to go and cast here now. Put one out, I'm going to put a sand eel and sardine bait out, and hopefully we can see a fish out today. I'm going to spend a little bit of time this week on the rays, I think, and hopefully we can see a fish out. Try and get into something a bit different. Decent would be better. And hopefully, if I get a chance, I'm going to go down to the field and do a little bit on casting. I mean, I could do with basically sharpening up what I was taught many years ago, because I've just got lazy, and I think it's due to fishing. Half the time you just want to get a bait out there, and it's sort of like just coming around. I can feel myself chasing the arm a little bit, I can feel myself coming over the top here and there, and it's sometimes just taking it back to school really. And yeah, let's have a go then. Got into that one a bit better. So my shoes are starting to split. I hope they don't go today, because I've got a bit of a walk ahead of me. But let's see if we can get a few fish out then. So tips are over. So the thing is, without running up and over a rig, there's no tension there straight away, so the rig can get onto it, and as it goes to pick it up, then it'll start feeling tension, and half the time it acts as a boat rig. But both reels set there now, long flowing traces, and hopefully we can see a few fish out. Now guys, I'm going to start going back to the shorter productions, okay? And the reason I'm doing it is I feel I can see that the numbers have gone down on the videos, and I've had a guy to message me and say to me, Andy, I used to love watching your videos and that, but I ain't got 3 hours to watch them anymore. And why don't you do it in parts? And I thought, you know what, it is probably going to be work. At the end of the day, you all got a chance to watch them still, and I know you enjoy the big features and stuff, a lot of you, and it goes to show. But I am going to start scaling back down, because I can see it within the Sea Angle Adventures channel, to be fair. But we got 2 baits out there today, and all we need to do now is see if we can get a few fish out. I mean, a very small tide. I like these tides really, and you're going to get a lot of depth there still for longer periods. You just won't get that pull, but sometimes it can pay off on the fish. Not guaranteed every time. I mean, big springs normally fish well along the Spectre coastline, but I've got a feeling we'll see something out today. I've got a feeling. So it's been an interesting week, long week at work, same as most of us. It's do look forward to the weekends, and yes, we had a nightmare yesterday really. I mean, it's supposed to be northwesterly winds at the moment, and it's very light southwesterly, and looks like there's a few anglers turned up the top there, boy up. It's going to be, I think people are going to look at trying to get to where we are today. I mean, there's been people fishing it last night, as we can see by the rubbish which we've just packed up. But there's a few guys with backpacks on and rods in hand, and I think we're probably on the rock. But yeah, it's one of them really. But yeah, to be honest, one could jump on the right hand side here, and one could go on the left of Connor. So there is room for people to get in, you know what I mean? So that's all you got to do at the end of the day. Personally, I mean, when we were down here the other day, it was nice. You get to meet anglers that you don't always know, or you mean, I'd seen a familiar face, and he had 2 lads what I've never met before, really nice lads, and we had a nice probably 6 hours on the rocks down here. I'm for one personally, if people turn up and they can't fish, I'm quite happy to put a rod away and let them chuck a rod on with me. I've done it many a times before. I mean, that's what fishing's about at the end of the day, isn't it? I mean, I left Connor last night. I tried to get some sleep, and I thought it's not working, so I ended up going home at early hours, and there was a guy which come across to see Connor to see how he was getting on, and they were sat chatting for a little bit and stuff, and that's what angling's about, isn't it? You know, meeting new people, meeting new faces, and having a go at the end of the day. But yeah, sometimes it can be quite clicky, can't it? You know what I mean? And many a times I've got down to the rocks and I'm like, oh, nightmare, I forgot my bait elastic, or I forgot my scissors, I forgot this, I got that, and one day I forgot my rigs. And then matey, what was down there, he said, I got rigs, have you got any bait elastic? I said, yeah. So I ended up using some of his rigs and he used my bait elastic, and it worked between us. You know what I mean? Nice guy. Sat down there fishing for the day. I never forget it because I caught a cormorant. My reel went screaming off and it was a cormorant. I was absolutely gutted. But yeah, it's going to be a busy day, I think. It's going to be a busy day. But yeah, the sea looks lovely, doesn't it? I don't know what it is. There's something about it. It's just, I'm just quite happy to live here, if I'm honest. I mean, I sat there last night down at the first mark we went to before we got blown off, and I had my sleeping bag down on the rock, and I lied there back like that, and I thought, do you know what? I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now. Anywhere else right now. Crazy, innit? Sometimes it's not all about catching. Sometimes it's about the small things in life. And just having those rods set up there now, where you're rod in the water, is relaxing for me, and it's probably a lot of you. I mean, I've had a lot of messages over the last few months where people are saying to me, do you know what, you're so right, Andy, just going out once a week. I suffer with depression or mental health issues and stuff like that, and I said, and it basically helps me, and it is for me. This is my drug. If I do this once a week, or if I get to do it more than once a week, I'm an happy guy. I mean, there's a lot of things in stress in life, in there, with work, family, whatever. Life's a roller coaster of ups and downs at the end of the day, and you're always going to have good times and bad times, and these are good times. Good times. You're making memories at the end of the day, and like where I am at the moment, I got a picture of my missus walking down here. I'll overlap it, and I'll tell you what, we went out on the night out. I said, right, I'll go out and do this night with you. It was like an Abbott tribute down at Timoth Den. And I said, do you know what? It was one we like to do it. She likes to do it every year, so I'll go and try and do it with her. It keeps her happy. I mean, you've got to do these sort of things, you know what I mean? And the following day, I said, right, I'm taking you fishing. So we come down here, and I got a picture, because where we going down for the path is quite gauzy. To the left-hand side, it's like a little bit grassy, and she went an happy bunny. She come down, and we spent probably 8 hours down here. Then we had to come back up, so she went up through the grassway, and instead of going through the gorse, and then we took a path home, and she had a seat box on her back because she didn't want to sit on the rocks, and she's got a picture of her sitting down on the seat box soaking. But good times. I mean, false advertisement, but very good times. I mean, when I first got with her, she couldn't wait to go fishing every time. She had some half-decent fish, smooth hounds, thornbacks and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And bass, I think she had bass up to £5.5, thornbacks to like £7, smooth hound to like £6.5, you know what I mean? It was like half-decent fish for her, really. And all of a sudden, they hook you, and the fishing's gone. But she'd never stopped me from doing it. I mean, I come back last night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was stinking of bait. And she said, don't forget to wash your hands. And I've washed my hands 3 or 4 times. And then she says, I can still smell it. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'll wash them again. So just in the end, you do what you can, don't you? So I've ended up putting some Brute. I love that Brute, guys. Cheap as hell. Whack some Brute on. That's all they can smell then. Keeps her happy. So yeah, quick shower, and I was jumped into bed. I was in bed for about 3. And then Connor messaged me at 8 o'clock when I was having my cereal, ready to go again. But I can feel myself getting older. I can feel it. I come up last night up this cliff, and I'll tell you what, when I got to the top, I thought, I'm too old for this. I'm getting too old for this. And it's not that. We had so much weight on us last night. There must be 25 kg in that for bait in that bag, enough for 2 days. With drinks and everything else, it was just absolutely manic. But speaking of drinks, I need a drink. I did have a drink in here, I think. I was in the bag. I'll get a drink in a minute. But yeah, hopefully, over the top of the tide now, we can see a few fish out. That's the plan of attack anyway. So stay tuned, guys. Lots more to come. Right, should we bring one in? I had a fish on then.
Did you?
Yeah. I don't think it was very big. It, as I come up through the rough, it's pulled the top hook of mine right down to the bottom hook, look. Must have been sat on it. It's a bit of weed out there. I'll show you now, guys. So, as I was bringing that in, I never had no bite or nothing, but what I did have was weight as soon as I picked it up. And what you can see here is the top hook's been brought down to the bottom hook. Whether it was a strap heel or a ray, it was just dead weight. But yeah, it's come off. So it's not up properly. So what we do here, just get that sardine off there a minute. Could have just been a lazy ray. Been the first time that's happened, right? So what I do, I get that there now, and I'll chuck it sea-bound. So that incoming tide is going to pick that bait up, so it's not left on the rocks for the next angler coming down. So have to be covered in flies and everything else. So what we're going to do now is go back, way back. So I'm going to try. Squid done business for me that the other day. So I'm going to put a squid on. I'm going to mix it up with a bit of sand in it. There you go. Lovely. Put it in there. So we've locked up. And what can do there? This one coming in. So if you want to see how to do a sand deal with squid bait, do check it out on the Sea Fishing Show channel. So we get that all prepared quickly, and we'll get him casted out, and hopefully see if we can get a fish out. Okay, sand deal and squid bait, just got to go out now. There's a bit of tide there. If anybody wants to see how to do a sand deal and squid bait, for watching for the first time or you're new to fishing, go and check out the Sea Fishing Show YouTube channel. It's a sister channel, brother channel to Sea Angling Adventures, which I do a lot of like educational, like hints and tips and stuff like that with it, demonstrations and stuff, and you'll be able to check it out all on that, guys. So yeah, do if you're new to fishing or you're looking to improve your baits and stuff, do head over, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe. So I'm going to do there now, just try and find, it's a nightmare sometimes this, I got it. So basically what I'm going to do is go through like so, okay, and then basically wrap that around like that. I tend to go a bit OTT on the bottom just to make sure it's locked into place. Okay, so we've got the black bead that needs to go down, it's already in there. So what I'll do there then, take this top hook around 3 times, and I want to position him towards the top of the bait really, so I can go in like that, in like that, I'm out through the squid, pull the shock leader tight, okay, and then basically what I can do is I can wrap this now around the shank of the hook, lock him into place, So, pretty sure that was a ray then, just dead weight. And then as it come up through the kelp, I could feel it just go. So I had to bully it up through to make sure my lead, I didn't use a rotten bottom lead. So I needed to make sure I could bully it up through, and obviously the fish come up through the kelp as well. But there you go, sand dune squid bait, ready to go out, sea bound, and hopefully we can see a fish out. Let's get into it. Okay then. So, see if we can get one out. Welcome back. So completely flat sea with a rough in front. It's sort of like turning it up slightly as it's coming in, but all in all, very pleasant day, very pleasant day. But back to the future production. So it's not been nice getting on back. Modern day technology has gone on, hasn't it? But reel wise, I do love those 525s. But in Back to the Future 2, we are going to cover these ones here, Pen Fathom 15s Mark 1s, and we're also going to cover an M47 SU, M427 SU, and it's what I moved on to, if I'm honest. And yeah, I won't say too much, but personally, I know the 525s are bomb proof. They lasted many years and stuff. So do these guys. So do these. I mean, they're lovely reels. They really are. They're my favourite. I'm not going to say they're the best, because I think the black and golds are constructed better. But the trouble is with black and golds, are very slow. No matter what you do, I've got a pair of them what I've got running really fast, and I've got to do certain things to it to make them do it. But after 1 or 2 sessions, they go back slow again. So you've got to consistently maintain them, so they're running quick. Where these mags straight away are uncontrollable. Without the mags off, they're like casting reels. They really are. They're free floating spool, and it makes a difference. And personally, for my fishing, I like to be able to cast some places at distance. I mean, this venue here, I mean, especially where we're fishing at the moment, I think if you can get out there, sometimes you can see a fish out rather than not. I mean, sometimes, I mean, they're right underneath your feet, so it's not all the time, but being able to do that. I mean, the 525s will get a good distance in the day. I feel, personally, for my type of fishing now, HSTs felt a little soft, where they're not soft. They're a very powerful rod, but I'm just used to that midsection. But these ones here, they're lovely rods, but I just need a very long drop with them. And I'm not going to say, well, I am going to say, when I've got areas where I've got not a lot of room to pendulum cast, I don't get the same distance with them. So I've been looking for something else, and I love the M427 SUs. The other day when I thought about it, I thought I've got to get a pair, and I managed to put a thing up, and I managed to get an old mate of mine, got hold of me, so I got a pair of the shed mate, come get them. So I went down and picked them up, and Andy Musebill, to be honest, many years ago I bought them off a guy in Teignmouth called Ross Stewart, and I'd never liked the colours, but I think when he got the colours done originally, they were done for his club colours, and I swapped them with Luke John's something or other, and Luke Johns had them for a little while, and then swapped them with Eddie, and then Eddie swapped them with Luke Johns, and then Luke Johns basically sold them back to Eddie. So Eddie's had them sat there doing nothing for ages, but they're immaculate. There's loads on the spigot. They've been well looked after, and that they got reducers with them, which makes them longer again. but I think Luke John's had a £200 skate on one of them, which is a mental really. You go to show the power in that fish. But me personally, the M427 SU was an out-and-out specimen hunter's rod. I mean, you'd only need one rod and that would be it, because it would do everything. You could fish off the rocks with it, you could fish in heavy conditions with it, you could fish light conditions, you could fish with place with it, you could lift it because of the tip on it and the power in the butt section. You could do anything you wanted with it. But when I had my first pair, they were set up by Andy Muse, so they were set up exactly the same as the ones I've got now for fishing, okay? And the first eye placement on the rod is a lot higher, a bit like the M42, a bit like the T1000s, is quite high up the butt. When I met Adam had different ring spacings for his M427 SU, so he had them slightly further back down on him. So I think really it helped you get into the midsection more, because obviously allowing that bottom eye to come more towards a reel created more pull in the midsection. And obviously Adams was set up for casting, and when I changed them around and went for that spacings, I found them a lot easier to cast. Having said that, I feel a little bit it lacked the power in the butt section as it did when they were set up by Andy Muse. And sometimes you want that butt power, especially when you're hauling fishing, and that's what it's for. They were, everybody had them. Everybody had the M427 SUs, and all the big specimen anglers that I know. And they were a fantastic rod. They really were. I'll go in more depth in the production with it, but I'm going to get them rebuilt. I've got to get them rebuilt before I do the production, because one of the eyes at the moment on the top eye isn't. I couldn't go specimen hunting with it, because if it rained I wouldn't feel comfortable. I nearly took them yesterday and today, but I'm going to send them over to Daiu Ellen in Wales, who, to be honest, I've had a bad rod build, and I'm very now, because rod building is expensive, and you know what I mean, to go and get your rods on it, it's half the time it's nearly the cost of buying a brand new rod. Having said that, it's something you need to get done from time to time. So there's only two people really. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, I've had them done by this. I've not heard reputations on a lot of different people, and obviously he's got a fantastic reputation for rod building, and Ross got a little bit further up as well for doing Ziplex and Century rods and stuff. But I've seen some of Dai's work, and I'm going to go with Dai, I think. And I'm tempted. I've seen like a photo of one he done. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not, but was tempted to get my 27-pound blonde put further up the blank, and then basically above my grip really, and then have the M427 SU in between, and have the Sea Angle Adventures logo and stuff. I don't know what I'm exactly going to do with it, but I want to do something quite special with them. I mean, they to get a pair of the M427s in that condition is very, very hard, and to be honest, it's a rod that, how many rods do you need? It's the question. And I've got a mate of mine, Ian. He messaged me the other day and he was asking about rods, and I never even thought about it, because I bought those HSTs the other day and I thought I'm going to keep these forever and ever and ever, but they are very soft. And he asked me about them, and I said to him on the phone, I might sell them to you, you know what I mean, because if you give me what I paid for them, they're brand new, mate, they're immaculate, you'd never be able to get them again. But at the same time, I don't know, they're just going to be sat there in my room, aren't they? But sometimes just having them is better than not having them, I suppose, isn't it? If I ever did want to use them. But how many rods do you need? I mean, I've got so much gear at the minute, and I think I've gone a bit crazy with it. I mean, reel wise, I think it's ideal, because I like to have a couple of pairs of reels with different things, and it's ideal to have reels if you've got reels there and you've got these here and you haven't got time to change your line. You've got other reels there loaded with line, you can just swap them around and that, which is ideal. But rods, I mean, I've got T900s, which I use for a lot of different things really, but I fished heavy tide with a lot of weed the other day up in the Bristol Channel, and they were locked full, and it put me off using them for doing that type of fishing, where a T1000 would have pulled through. So I've got rods for different things. I've got T1s there, which I'm using down the other day. I've got room to cast and that, lots of bullying power up over the rougher ground. I've got T1200s, which I've bought for like skate fishing, Fort Ventura and stuff. And then I've got the M427s and the HSTs now. And I'm looking at a pair of HST Evos, believe it or not. But it's, I don't know. They're nice to have, but there's stuff you'll never be able to get again. I don't think I'd ever lose money on them. You know what I mean? Especially the Ziplex rod. I mean, that HST, you'd never ever get a pair like that again, I don't think. They were the last built from the Ziplex factory, and from the mandrels, and yeah, it's just they're priceless, really, isn't it? I mean, I've had so many people message me about them asking to buy them, and I've said no straight away, and then I've just said yes to Ian. So it's an odd one. But always been a big fan of Ziplex growing up. I mean, for me personally, it's I know I've always liked Century. Don't get me wrong. I've had loads of Century rods over the time and stuff. But Ziplex was the one. I mean, I remember having my first Ziplex rod and selling all my gear to get that one rod. And I mean, I had two different types of side. I had sidewinded Evos, a pair of them, and a pair of Viper Evos, and a single Viper. And I think I swapped all 5 rods for this one Ziplex rod. And I went from fishing 2 rods to 1 rod for a little bit. Then I bought another Ziplex, so I had a matching pair. And TZ500 they were. Yeah, were Nick's old rods. He sold them to a guy in Exeter, for Andy Hale, he was called. He used to be a member of the Exmouth Club, and I had them for ages. And then I moved on, went for the compressor super sports, and move on as you do. But Ziplex will always have a big place in my heart when it comes to fishing. I mean, it's one of my younger memories. I mean, I don't know if it was a black and red and it was like a casting background, but personally, it's like the Zocron rods now. When you get a rod in your hand, like a bit like the Ziplex rods and the Zocron rods and that, you can feel the casting background behind them. Okay, you can feel the background behind them because you can feel everything to the lead. I mean, they've got the ones that Connor's got there now, the 435 extreme tournaments. I mean, I miss those rods. I do miss those rods. I'm going to get another pair of them, I think, because I don't know how many pairs of rods you need, Andy, I know, but I just miss them for this type of fishing. You know what I mean? They've got loads of bullion power. They've got lovely tips. Where that tip for this type of fishing, personally, that's a bit too much for a rod for this type of fishing. That rod's suited to rough ground. It's built for what it's described for, what Century described for. Rough ground, big fish fishing with loads of power, and that's what it's there for. I mean, lots of tip. You can lift the fish if needed, and they're just bullying machines. But for ray fishing, personally, I like a slightly lighter tip, but lots of power in the midsection, which the M427SU does. So it's there's so many rods out there, and it basically puzzles people sometimes what to go for, doesn't it? And the trouble is with rods, you can't try before you buy. And as I said to people before, the good thing about the European Open, if you come up early, we do the Zocon casting days, and you get a chance to cast some of these rods. And I don't know whatever rods people are using at the minute. You know what I mean? We had a few people come last time, and they went away and like the Super Match Light and the Super Match, they were going to buy them straight away because it suited their type of fishing. Very quick, easy to load. They walked away with big smiles on their face. I think Jay had a few phone calls after that, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. But they're built by people that know what they're doing, Zocron. And yeah, I do regret selling them, if I'm honest, because I do miss them. But at the end of the day, Connor needed some decent rods to use, and he's getting along well with them. I mean, he was literally at pendulum casting them last night and hitting them right out there over the drop off. And yeah, it's good to see. I think he put his step in a couple of times last night, cheeky little step. But no, it's good. But yeah, as I said, there's lots of rods out there, guys, and people have their favourites and stuff. But me personally, it's free brands when it comes to, you got Zocron, you got Ziplex, and you got Century. Century's had the top spec of it now for the last 10 years at least, just the new modern day technology and stuff what's come into them, and obviously they've bought Ziplex now, and where Zocron only been going in the last couple of years, but they've hit the scene big time with just the performance of the rods. You're talking like the people that know what they're doing, casters, extreme, like big distance tournament casters, they know what they want, they know what they need. You know what I mean? Good, like experienced anglers as well, know what they're looking out for when they're going fishing and stuff like that, and that goes a long way. Because a lot of these companies don't have the background knowledge themselves. They've got to pass the rods to other individuals to cast them and stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, Adam's done some prototype testing over the years. I've done a little bit here and there. There's a lot of people that's been out there and does a lot of these stuff for other companies and stuff. And they rely on that. You know what I mean? Where if you're the owner of the company, like Zocon with Jay, he knows what he's doing, doesn't he? I mean, he knows the background into casting. He knows what he needs in a rod. He knows what people want, and I think they've done an incredible job with doing so. You know what I mean? The bass rod, what's come out now, the longer bass rod, 13 foot, is an absolute beast. It's a lovely rod. You could use that codding and that on the chisel. It's got more than enough power, and they're just a lovely rod to cast. Anybody that hasn't cast one and wants to go European Open next year, do come along and take part in the casting day. Connor will be there as well, so I'm sure he'll bring his down, and Jay normally sends a rod down to me or whatever's new at the time for people to try. I mean, last year that light, they loved it, absolutely loved it. But yeah. Anyway, it's enough of me jabbling on. Let's try and catch some fish. Well guys, as you can see, I'm not fishing rotten bottoms. I'm fishing a long running up and over rig, getting the lead back every time. It's a case of reeling like mad and just getting up over the rougher ground out there, but I find that these longer traces seem to do better for the rays along here. I mean, I used to use pulley rigs back in the day, but I prefer the longer traces, and once a pulley rig's set, it's exactly the same as what you use in there, you know what I mean? A long flowing trace, if not as long, but because obviously the pulley gets out, your lead would be up there somewhere. But nothing happening at the minute, so just got to keep putting them in. It's a small tide though guys, so nothing's guaranteed. Okay then, so here we go again. Let's put another first bait up. I'm going to go plain sand deal on this one. I'm feeling small eyes today, unfortunately. I think it's going to be small eyes. I wouldn't mind a spotted, to be fair. And the water. Right. So we have a sand deal and a half. So we're golden, isn't it? Is that right then? Very impressed with these Spooligan cups. I mean, I had it upside down the first time. I didn't know, but I think it's because the way it said Spooligan underneath. I thought it was the way it, so you could see it from the top, but it's not. You can actually use them so they reverse. And I've got them set up there and I like it now, so if you're ever in a position where you want to bait up in that, you can put your rod the other way round. They're ideal when you're on the rocks and stuff, because I like to try and look after my gear, if I'm honest, and I don't like having all scratched gear. It kills me, and absolutely kills me. And to be honest, I've just sold a pair of Fathoms to Joseph, and that's the reason I got rid of them, if I'm honest, because they're a little bit marked from where I used to use them on the rocks. But the trouble is, these are going to get like that now, so it's one of them really. But Connor in the background doing his OnlyFins bit. Let's double check the mic's not in and you can hear me, because I've done that earlier on. So here we go. Fortunately no bites as of yet. He's doing his Connor bit. You lovely boys. Soaking up the sun, acting like I'm on holiday apparently. Whee! Right, so what I've done, I've basically cut a sand dune in half here now. Okay, just to put that one there. I'll use that in a minute. It's back in the box. Quite uncomfortable. It is today anyway. So what I'll do here now, get the bait elastic. What I'll do is go over the top of that trace line, like that. What I'll do now is get this bait elastic and come all the way down. Someone moaning yesterday, got home last night, early hours of the morning, I had an email come through, and there's been a localish guy actually. He been watching some of my stuff over the years and stuff like that. For some reason or another, he's always got something cocky to say, and there was an incident where he was putting some stuff online about me in a negative way, and I blocked him from the channel, so he can't see nothing what goes on Sea Angle Adventures anymore. And he emailed me, because he obviously can't contact me on Facebook, and said, mate, is there any chance you can put me back on? I can't see nothing. And I thought, you cheeky git. You know what I mean? But they've only got themselves to blame. If they can't watch the stuff, should learn to keep their mouth shut. That's what I say anyway. But I'm going to lose no sleep about it, and I'm definitely not adding them back onto the channel. I know a lot of you seen that sausage watch stuff and going on. People thought, what the hell was he doing? But do you know what? I've just been enjoying the peace and quiet now. I've got to be honest. I mean, I've been having to put up with that rubbish for years and years and years and years. My mate Rich rang me the other day and said, you know what, Andy, he said, fair play to you. He said, I had loads of people messaging me and asking what's going on and that. But he said, you sort of proved your point. You proved everything you were saying was right and true. And what more can you do? And I said exactly the same. So all you can do is tell the truth. If people got issues, that's their own issues, isn't it, at the end of the day? But I've just been enjoying just getting on with the fishing. Hey, so that's that bait up. It's a lovely bait up, that is actually. It's a sand deal bait up, ready to go out there. So I'm going to whack that one out right now and try and get some distance on him. Hopefully we can see a ray out. What I love about fishing. It makes you feel alive at times, doesn't it? Like that. It's gone slightly that way. Let me move that. Put that in there a minute. is locked in. Get this other one in now. You know, we do a bait sometimes. Do you ever think that's the one? That just, I don't know, something about that sardine and sand deal bait up is just screaming out to me there. Absolutely screaming out to me. So yeah, I'm going to get this one out. I'm not going to bore you with the casting, guys. Just going to see if we can get a fish out for the production. I mean, as I said, it's nothing guaranteed down here. Small tide. Thought we'd come out of high water, get out of the way with the wind and stuff, and have a go. There's a few fish been had out over the last couple of weeks, and yeah, you never know, do you? You never know. So hopefully this cast can be the one. Coming up, we've got about an hour and a half to high water now. Okay then, baits have just gone out and ratchets are set, so it's just a waiting game. Coming up to the top of the tide in a minute, so we've got probably 2 hours, I would say. We're not going to have a late one tonight. Mrs is going out, so I said I'd be back about 6 o'clock, so make sure I was there to look after the little one. And yeah, late high waters in the middle of the night, I just don't like them sometimes. Probably no fishing tomorrow, probably just chill out one tomorrow, do a bit of editing and stuff I've done today. All the rest of the sardine we got left over there, I've said to Connor he can have, because he can freeze them down. Obviously they're vat packed anyway, so we can just freeze them down, and he's got some fresh, got some frozen sardine in the freezer there. We're not going to run out, I don't think, anyway. I mean, I reckon I've got about 80 packs there at the minute. So we're going to order some more prawn, get some prawn sorted. Probably order a few more packs, might order one more box. Just to see me through the winter then. To be honest, anchovies will be down in a minute, so yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some anchovies and doing exactly the same thing. Pack them down, get them in the freezer. I mean, those anchovies are spot on. We had some decent fish on them every year. About 50 packs of sandy, I would say, ready to get the sea through till next year. Try and stock up again on that then. I mean, it's a nightmare sometimes, isn't it? Just trying to stock up on stuff. What I normally do when I start running down is just, if I go in the tackle shop, buy 10 packets, you know what I mean? And then if I go into another shop and they think, you know what I mean, I don't get greedy with it. I'll be always make sure I leave sandal there, but even if 5 packets, you know what I mean, it's it just helps to build up a sandal, because especially like you go into the race season next year, sometimes it's hard to get the big ones straight away, isn't it? I mean, a lot of up the line, people like the crab, don't they? Crab seems to be the one that everybody wants, and blacks and stuff like that. And quite fortunate that they still get them all the time like that. But with sand deal, especially for ray anglers, it's hard work to get hold of them sometimes. I mean, I've got a load of lawns, but I like the lawns later on in the year. I prefer to use the lawns. I've got some nice lawns there actually, so I'll probably try and use some of them up this year. I've got some razors there for, I don't really do it a lot, but when you get the winds coming through like Dawlish Warren sort of time and it's bassy, I've always got some razor there just in case I want to go down, you know what I mean, and have a chuck. Don't use razors a great deal, but Dawlish Warren and that seems to fish really well with razor fish. Yes it is, mate, yeah. Why is that?
Tide start going that way.
Yeah.
Tide start going that way.
Yeah. Tide just turned, isn't it? I'm winding him up. It's not even high water yet. It's your casting, mate. Why? What are you thinking? No, my rod's exactly where they are. The tide's eased off a little bit now. Connor's asking questions. Why? What do you think? Wind him up a bit now. Hey? He's confused. What are you confused about?
Well, if I started going right.
I don't know, mine's just sat there at the minute. It's not high water yet anyway, is it? What time's it now? What time's high water? 2:30?
About 3:30, isn't it? What about
Yeah, it's only 1:30, so we got 2 hours. Got 2 hours.
2 hours to get a Raymond?
What people obviously starting out fishing don't see sometimes is a lot to do with the tides, because obviously this now, a lot of people were seen on the last video we've done here. There's rocks out in front what I was casting off and stuff like that. We've not been able to get onto them this time. We were down here for low water as well, and you can see the difference sometimes, even that. So I think it was, what was it, 4.1 today, innit?
What?
What was the tide today? What size? 4.1, wasn't it?
4-1?
Yeah, it was 4.1, yeah. So it's 4.1 metre tide here today, yeah. So when we were down here the other day, it was a 5.9 metre tide, which was absolutely massive for the scale down here. So it's the single biggest tide of the year. And I remember years ago, like when we used to jump down on those rocks, we'd always get wet because it was such a big tide. You know, got in and out straight away. And when the tide come up, the tide was up here somewhere, but when we were fishing towards the end of the high water, where today it's not dropped so much, but sometimes with a smaller tide you'll get more depth there throughout fishing, and sometimes at different marks and stuff it can pay off, because you've got it's not necessarily about the tide pushing the fish in, it's necessarily the depth of tide bringing them over banks and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And what you'll find is, not every venue, I mean here really I prefer a bigger tide, just out of experience over the years of fishing this area, find bigger tides normally produce to bring the fish in more. But nothing's always guaranteed, but we've got a good depth of water there now, which is always nice. We had a good depth of water really over low water. I mean, everything's covered in front of us, so as long as we get those fish up, if we get one on, we should have no problem in landing it, fingers crossed. Unless you get a big one which tends to stay deep, but you just have to try and bully it a little bit, don't you? But unfortunately, Connor's gone left slightly to where he did last time, because he lost a fish where I am again last time he was here, so I think it's put him going off over. But he will have to learn about pumping the rod. I mean, I was watching him last night, he was sort of like getting it a little bit, but necessary sometimes it's better to like slow down and get used to like levering and then levering and levering, you know what I mean? Even when you're reeling, just practice doing that, because it comes second nature then. I mean, fishing over rough ground is an easy thing to start off to do, and he's done really well with it, to be fair. I mean, he's down here now, he's using rotten bottoms. I've got no rotten bottoms on at all today, just because of the size of the tide. I think if I'm going to lose a lead, it'll be out there due to the rock. There's like one rock there and there's one rock there, and then you can come that side, and then there's a rock out to the left hand side as well. But most of that in between there, then you're fortunate if you land on that or you go over that. Sometimes you can fill up through the weed, because there's a lot of kelpy bits and pieces in between that as well. It's not all just plain sand. That's why I think it sort of like brings the blondes into this area, because it's a bit of mixy ground, you know what I mean? Lovely day for it. Lovely day for it. Oh well, anyway, we'll get a drink and wait for this bite then. Okay, here we have Mr. OnlyFins. Slack liner, please, please, please. Getting the blonde out and I'm going to bed then. Slackened you up a lot. It's still slack there, isn't it?
Look at it.
I don't know. I'll wind that slack up though, because it's going left. Pull back on that tension. See anything there?
I think there is.
Huh? Think there is? What did the bite do?
There's only one way to find out.
Wait.
Nah, I don't think so. Just went over and came back. Pull it. Nah, I don't think there's anything there.
Oh,
Oh, that's weird.
never mind. At least you can get fresh bait on. Well, guys, what can I say? It's been a very slow day. Very slow day. Only thing's just had a slack line bite where he was sat here talking to me, and apart from that, that's all we've had. Drop that, or whatever was on that first hook. Could have been a fish, could have been anything really. It was just dead weight, but managed to pull the hook up. But oh, I'm in need of a good bit hot food, and also good hot food, and also it'd be nice to have some, I don't know what I fancy tonight. Do you know what? I fancy spaghetti bolognese and a couple of glasses of red wine. But first of all, I'm probably going to have 2 litres of water when I get back to the car. It looks like there's an angler coming. We're getting down for the evening session. Late night, high water tonight though. But yeah, as you said, never blank session, can't win them all. It is what it is sometimes. It's not the best of tides. We thought we'd come down, he wants a blonde out. And we thought, yeah, the angler's seen us down here now, and he's like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Yeah, he's walked all the way to where we are, and now he's looked to the top, and he's thinking, I'm gutted. To be fair, it doesn't matter, because we're that sort of people to say, jump in, mate, you know what I mean? It is what it is, you know what I mean? There's always room to get people in. But, yeah, it does look a bit gutted though. Still walking though. So yeah, see how we get on. So as we start coming towards the top of the tide, we've got a couple of fresh baits out, and I think that's going to be us for the last baits. So all on this or nothing. I'm just hoping he can get one out. He don't care, as long as it's a blonde, don't matter if it's 6, 7, but 8 pounds, you know what I mean? He'll be over the moon with it, and that's what counts at the end of the day. So he's been trying his hardest as well. He deserves one out. Put a lot of trips in and stuff. It's the time of year in that as well, isn't it? No, not for me, mate. He thinks it's Christmas with the mince pies, doesn't he? Right, what I'm going to do is cut this all down. Completely off. There's a little gully to the next to me now with water in, so just help to feed the fishies, wouldn't it? So I'm gonna get a nice fresh bait out there, fresh sardine, and hopefully trying to pull a fish out for the camera now more than anything. I'm not going to catch nothing massive here, as I said. It's more so getting him out, it's just trying to get him the blonde out. I mean, he's so wanting the blonde at the minute. It's one of them, innit, you know what I mean? So I'm sure we get one this time of dedication, and it will pay off. It will pay off. So I'll get this on here now. I'm going to attempt to cut my trace down a little bit. I'm going to pull that through. I hope we can pull that through a little bit. I do that a lot, especially when the tide's running and stuff like that. I tend to mix up my trace sizes. I mean, you never guarantee, but if the tide's hard, then I'll have a shorter trace. If it starts laying off a little bit, I'll start going a little bit longer. So just cut that off there now. And then we will, it's nice, get a bit of fresh sardine on the go. So let's do this. On that, ready to rock and roll. Lovely, put that rubbish in the bin in a minute. Okay, tide's starting to push now, as you can hear it. Chuck that over into the gully. And what I'm going to do now is run this up through like so. You can see the size of the bait I want. I'll mix that everyone up with a bit of squid in a minute. That is slightly big, but I'm going to probably cut this down a little bit. That's it. Me personally, I like to have my bait size. I don't want massive bait when I am, especially because we're targeting like small line and stuff like that as well. I don't want a huge bait, just like a sand eel width really. But that there, I'll bring that down through the back of this now, up like that. That's lovely. That is lovely. So as you can see, we'll get this one on. That's it. Pull that hook up a little bit. Just jam that bottom hook in. Like so. It's lovely that. Bring that up through. Get my black bead tucked into the bait. And around he comes. Lots of scent coming out of that. This is not going to catch a fish over the top of the tide. I don't know what else will. But as we said, we're going to give it a go. Bait and hook is left exposed. Smother the bait, smother the hook, smother the bite, and then what I'm going to do is going to bring that down like that. Go 1, 2, 3, come through the top of the bait, and then what I'm going to do is where that trace line comes there like that, I'm going to bring that down through like that, come up the top of the bait like that, compact him down so he goes in lovely. Hold the top of the bait, try and get my elastic, which is a nightmare. There we go. That comes back up like so, and then what I'm going to do now is pull that trace line around there like that. Get that top hook in there now. That's it. Nice. It's fixed. Let that come round there like that. Point out proud. That's it. All the way up to the top of the bite. I feel absolutely shattered. Been a long old night. No sleep. There you go. And there he is. So that one there little bit of bait elastic around that bottom up there, so I'm just going to trim that. So, hooked up. There you go. Bait on the bottom, bait on the top. Get this one blasted out quickly. Just going to cast this one from back here, and hopefully see a fish out. Well, guys, it's last cast on that one. I think we've got about an hour. What time is it now? So it's 20 to 3. We're going to start packing up about 4 o'clock. And 4 o'clock gives us 2 hours to get back again. And yeah, we've got a bit of a walk to get back to the car, to say the least. But I'll need a new pair of shoes. These ones have had it. I'll go through them a bit later on, and probably do it in the studio later on tomorrow night, because they've lasted a good stretch of time. They come off once and I've re-super glued them. They probably do the same again, but they're split on top of that now. So I'm going to invest in a new pair, but I'll be sure to show how long I've had them and why I'm buying a new pair and the qualities of them and that. I mean, nothing lasts forever. I didn't have a bite then, did I? Sure I had a bite then. I did have a bite. Here we go. Could have a bite here. Fish? Around there. Get this one next baited up, and yeah, last cast then. See if we can get a fish out. Okay then. So cut the head off that. I'm going all out cut guts here now. Lovely. It's a perfect ray bait on that one as well. What I'm going to do now is attach that on like so, and then we'll get some of this scent around him like that. Through. He's gone. He's gone. What I'll try and do is get this little bit here, put it around like that, a bit of scent there, get my hands off, and then give it a quick pendulum cast, get them out there, and hopefully we can see a fish out. Last cast, loon. Bags. Okay guys, so as you can see, all the rubbish underneath me, very uncalled for. We got here at the beginning of the day and there was flies everywhere. We're about to leave the place as clean and tidy as we would like to see it. I mean, there was literally flies all over the place due to this leftover bait and stuff. We cleared all the bait off into the sea, which allows it for the next angler to come down and hopefully not be having to put up with what we have. So what I'm going to do is pick up all this, okay, all the line, leftover stuff, and it's all in the bag again. What we'll do is tie that in a knot. One bit there I can just pick up here now. There is. I don't know what that is. But as you can see, a complete bag of rubbish just left there, which isn't good at all, if we're honest. So pick that up and we'll put that over with the stuff there. I'll take that back on the way back up through. There's going to be a public bin on the way home, no matter where we go. Just pull over, stick it in the public bin, job done. No screaming misses with loads of bait, stinky bait in the bin, and everyone's happy. And that's what you got to do at the end of the day, guys. I mean, it's not rocket science. If you're going out on marks like this, whether you're going to marks anywhere around the UK, it's not nice to come down to marks and see rubbish all over the place. I mean, you go down like Hope Snows and Berry Head, which is two local marks to me. Over the years, it's been absolutely annihilated just with people just leaving rubbish and camping and stuff down there. And half the time it's not anglers, but this is. You won't see anglers on these rocks what we're on. Won't see normal general public, I doubt it, because of how you got to get to it. You know what I mean? They're not going to come down just to sit by the sea and go through all that. There's a lot easier places to do so. So everything what it shows me then, bait wrappers, line, is fishermen. You know what I mean? Pack lunches and stuff like that. And it's just uncalled for. So one bit of advice I like to give to everybody: please pick up your rubbish and take it home, and leave it as it is now, ready for the next anglers to come along. And I mean, there's nothing worse than getting down to a mark and being flies everywhere. We all know what it's like. And just by picking up chucking your bait, when you're taking your bait off, chuck it towards the sea. Don't leave it by your feet, and just common practice in my opinion. But anyway, I'm glad you've all enjoyed this episode. Unfortunately, no fish today. Like I say with anything, it's we've come down. The tide's on massive, and it's about to start building. So it's one of them now where we need some bigger tides really. But I'm sure we'll get down in the next few weeks again. I mean, as I said, I've said to him, I'll come down and have a go with him, because if he does get one on, at least he's going to land it then. And then once he's got his blonde, that's my job done. Game on. But no, we're going to do a bit of a climbing things very soon, probably for the sea fishing show, just to show the in-depth stuff which you've got to do to be able to do this sort of thing. I mean, I've told Connor already I won't be taking him anywhere which we need rope access and stuff without training. So we're going to go and spend a couple of nights up the climbing school, and go through a few bits and pieces, and I think he's actually going to pay out to do a little course with one of the instructors there, just so we can obviously know at the end of the day, professionals all the way. I mean, I've been shown and done courses and stuff like that. I'm not a teacher, but I can show them the basic of what you've got to do. I mean, anybody what's doing that sort of you've got the pusset loop, which in theory we should be using all the time. I thought that yesterday when we were coming back up the cliff, because I had the rope between my legs. If I've got the pusset loop on, I can just carry on going forward. If I go to forward, it just secures me on the rock. I'm not going to move anywhere. And silly things like that. I mean, I'm not getting any younger, and accidents happen at the same time. And the amount of weight I had on my back yesterday, all it took was to me to go off balance and I'd been gone. And maintain safety at all times, guys. If you've got banks and stuff like that, you're coming down over a rock, sometimes it's worth just putting a stake in and a rope just to hold yourself, you know what I mean? Silly things like that. I know a mate of mine, Stu Norris, he's got a little rope there, and he uses it on places where a lot of other people won't use it, but he uses it sometimes in places like on the channel and that, where he can put a stake in, he can put a thing down, and he's got hands when he's coming down towards the sea on wet, slippy rocks to hold on to something. So if he does go to fall, he's got the rope there. And it does make sense at the end of the day. I mean, most of the ropes I've got are like 60 meters, 80 meters, and 100 meters, so they're big, long ropes. But as I said, the best bit of the thing I've ever got is the ID. I mean, the ID is a device which you can't have so much fun on it. You can't jump out and do the normal abseil like a figure of 8. But when you've got heavy loads on, it's what the Coast Guards and that use for lifting weights up and stuff like that when they're doing their sort of like jobs, basically. If they got to lift anything like on stretchers and stuff like that, a lot of the time they use the IDs, and it just maintains. If you go to pull, you let go, and you're locked in there. And he's gone and got one. So I'm sure he'll have a bit of fun. But I want to go through a few things with him, especially when you're going like doing the sort of stuff we're doing, is hand placement, because it's always have 3 points of contact. Okay, you've got your foot put on contact here, and you've got your hands, right, and then you've got your other hands. So you've got your feet, and then you've got that, you know what I mean? So all at the end of the day, you always want to have you have your feet secure and your hands onto something before you make the next step. So 2 points of contact at all times, you know what I mean? So you don't like, you're not just basically using your feet to walk. No matter what, you've got something to grip onto, and then you can move forward, hold yourself in position, and move again. And that's the way we do climbing. I mean, nothing's ever rushed. Everything's done safely. Everything's done passing. That sort of job is a teamwork thing when you're passing your rods up at times. And to be fair, it's not for everybody, but a lot of people do enjoy it, and me personally, I enjoy that sort of thing. It's an adventure just going to these places half the time, whether you catch or not. And obviously with the specimen sort of side of things, it's not. But we weren't down here for specimens really today. We're just down here to get a few fish out. He wants to get a blonde out. It hasn't paid off for us. I think due to the tides. There was still a few fish round, but for one reason or not, it's not done the business today, unfortunately. But we've got the last rod set up now. Going to get them packed away, head home, and look forward to catching you in the next adventure. Hopefully we get a few fish next time. And don't forget to go over to the sea fishing show. I've got some bait ups of today, of a sand eel bait up, and sand eel and sardine bait up, and also a sardine bait up. Also done another talk on the cool box, a question I'd come through for the Century cool box. I've done something on that. Lots of general bits and pieces going over on the sea fishing show. I've done one on collecting winter bait this week, what went down really well, and other bits and pieces. And don't forget to head over to Connor's channel, OnlyFins, and check out his sort of like content at the same time. It's everybody's doing lots of different content at the end of the day, guys, and he's really enjoying it, what he's doing. So yeah, game on. But tight lines from us all. Catch you later on.